Hello, everyone, and welcome to Monday Musing at Koi Tutoring Services for October 24th. So, today I'm going to talk about the motto or logo or tagline for Koi Tutoring Services, which is "You're smarter than you think." Just going to talk about that for a couple minutes, and also going to talk about another few points to ponder as you begin a new week. I hope that you enjoyed the summer weather on Sunday. Did you have any outdoor fun? Hopefully you did. Did anyone actually go and, I don't know, swim in a nearby lake and pretend it was summer? It sure was warm. Hopefully you fired up the barbecue if you have one, or did something else on the side. So, at the secondary level, another thing that we're going to talk about briefly. This is just kind of a reminder, just to give you some context if you are a parent of secondary school students. At the secondary level, students are beginning the eighth week of their 18-week semester. Okay, and that means also starting around day 32 out of a 92-ish day semester. Okay, so what does that mean for report cards and grades? Well, it means that in 2 weeks or so, teachers will be writing midterm reports. Okay, showing, see, we're getting close to the halfway point pretty soon. And soon after, those report cards will be distributed. So, if you're a parent of a high school student, how are your kids, how is your child or how are your children doing? Are they reaching their full potential? Have you gotten some feedback maybe from teachers? All right, maybe you participated in the parent-teacher interviews that happened in many boards fairly recently, in the past week or so, depending on what schedule your board follows. As a tutor, I always recommend that parents reach out to their child's teachers regularly, okay, to touch base and see how they are progressing. It's always good to be proactive that way. I would really, really encourage you to do so. Sometimes we get very busy. I'm sure that pretty much represents about 100% of you, but nonetheless, it's always good to find out what the teacher's email is and just fire off an email, a check-in. Okay, that's really really a good idea. Sometimes no news is good news. Sometimes we assume that, and but it's always good to check. Okay, so let's talk about the question of you being smarter than you think. Would this am I talking about just elementary age and high school age students or college age students? Uh, no, no. Talking about um, considering this as a proposition uh, for all of us. Okay, so you're smarter than you think. Is that just an empty cliche? I don't know. Otherwise, I wouldn't be using it for my business. I've been teaching for quite a while, and I've seen this to be true in students of all ability levels, in diverse, demonstrating diverse and displaying diverse intelligences. All right, and I mentioned last week I'm going to unpack multiple intelligences at some point uh, in one of these posts. But in any case, you're smarter than you think. What does that mean? Well, this connects back to the scaffolding concept of one of the fundamentals that I spoke about earlier. So if you consider that in any aspect, in any enterprise that you engage in life, at whichever age, the idea of using prior knowledge is something that we've done, ever since we had conscious thoughts, frankly, and we're able to walk. All right, we learn how to talk. We learn how to manipulate objects. We learn how to interpret other people, parents, family members talking, siblings. All right, and as we grow older, we face more and more choices about whether we accept or reject this concept. All right, and this is why I've got the image behind. Okay, you're going down a road, and you've always got choices, and those choices, this path. I mean, what are you going to do? Why would you walk straight through? Right? You've got to make a choice. So you're going to go this way, and you're going to go this way. Okay, so you've got choices to make, and really, what this what this post is about as we gear up for another week of, working at home, working at school, whatever job you have, wherever your child is at, whether your child is in grade 1 or grade 12 or second year college or university. The bottom line is we have daily choices. You're smarter than you think simply means this, and this is meant to be empowering, and it's meant to really reflect the truth of our cognitive abilities. All right, you always use prior knowledge to make decisions in your life. Now, sometimes we ignore, prior knowledge, and we just pursue one route instead of another for a variety of reasons. Okay, life can be complicated. Sometimes we forget things. Sometimes we forget what we've learned, and often as children we struggle with this mightily. Okay, if you're a parent of very small children, I'm sure this doesn't relate to your life in any way, but have you ever repeated a request to one of your children, and have you ever reminded them, go please, clean your room? And so the bottom line is we do a lot of repetition because it seems that it takes a long time for us to learn something. Maybe we just choose to ignore. All right, but you're smarter than you think. So in terms of the pathway, in terms of tutoring, in terms of getting extra help, in terms of feeling like you've hit the wall and now you need help, all right, whether you are watching this video as a really frustrated, maybe discouraged parent because your child in whichever grade is struggling, or whether this happens in your life for other reasons, you're smarter than you think. You've got a choice to just stop and think and go back. This is really the foundation of my tutoring practice. Go back to what you know. Okay, go back on this pathway backwards, okay, to kind of regroup and recall. Okay, let's start with what we know, and then we can make a choice to pursue a new direction. All right, and to discover some things that we don't know. And when we go back far enough, we can actually stop and think, okay, now I'm on solid ground. Now I'm going to make a decision based on what I know, and I'm going to make an informed decision. I'm going to pursue this way or pursue that way. So let's consider a student struggling in grade 9 math, really, really struggles with multiplication, has a hard time factoring quadratic equations or factoring any kind of equations, right? Always, half the time gets the wrong answer, has a 42% average in math class, and the class has about 30 students in it, and it's a struggle, okay? It's a struggle for you as a grade 9, a grade 9 student, okay? So you're struggling. So what are you going to do? Well, if you back up and start with what you know to figure out what you don't know, that can help you succeed. Can you always do that on your own? Not necessarily, because of the learned pattern of failure. So what are your choices? Well, you can access a tutor, all right? And you could talk to parents, okay? So now let's put on the parent hat. You have a child who's struggling in grade 9 math. They struggle with multiplication and division, and they get low tests, and they get some help from the teacher. They might even get some help from a classmate, but it's just taking a long time. And then comes the homework on a weeknight, and the struggle of staring at a textbook for an hour and still, I just don't get it. And maybe there's a part-time job. Maybe there's other things going on in the family that require energy, all right? So there's about this much energy to spend on this, and it continues to grow in terms of stress. All right, so at Koi Tutoring Services, and really what the emphasis is to start with some foundational skills to build some confidence and to gain some new knowledge and skills based on how you already think. You already know how to do certain things. All right. This is what I mean about being smarter than you think. It's not just a cheesy line. It's not just a cliche. All right. I firmly believe that if we stop and think, and if we're in the right learning context where we can just step off the merry-go-round and just take a deep breath, count to 10 or whatever, then we can back up far enough to take a different path. Or in this case, in the image behind me, to stop and think and reflect and to look at the map, slowing down and doing multiplication tables, just grinding it in and memorizing the multiplication tables, figuring out what integers are, which are negative numbers, okay? And just doing a lot of multiplication, a lot of subtraction and addition, lots of rote learning, paper and pencil, and just every time. And, I would give you small sections. I would give the students small sections of practice time so that the next time we meet, those processes would become locked into place. So you're smarter than you think because you're going to stop and you're going to go back because you always have more knowledge to access than you think. I can't do math. Does that sound familiar? I'm stressed out with math. Now, what if as a parent you were stressed out in math? You're going to be really, really struggling to get your child the help that your child needs. Okay? So there are solutions available. So please drop a comment. Tell me what you think about this. You're smarter than you think. If you had those kind of experiences, all right. I wish you a wonderful week. Have just a wonderful Monday. Hopefully the warm weather continues. Cheers for now.